Alright, I showed you how to do the cleaning of the outside of your engine, but I'll show you a little trick for cleaning the inside of your engine. So I'm about 2,500 miles into this oil change. I typically change at 3,000 miles. I know some of you out there are probably going, that's too often, but that's what I do. I've had good luck with it. I'm not changing. I've drained a quart of oil, and I'm going to replace it with some transmission fluid here, and just to show that this really is transmission fluid. I've got a sealed bottle here. I'm going to pour it right into my crankcase. The reason I'm using transmission fluid is it is basically an oil and a lubricant, but it's also got a lot of cleaning additives in it. So my hope is that by driving this for 100 to 500 miles with this in here, that it's going to circulate through and clean up anything that's built up in the motor and rinse out with the oil change that I'm going to do here in the next couple weeks probably. Just to give you a baseline, that's the color of the oil that came out today, so it's kind of a dark brown. I'm counting on and hoping that the oil that comes out at the oil change will actually be black, thanks to the transmission fluid cleaning stuff out. Alright, I've put somewhere between 200 and 300 miles on the car with the 1/4 transmission fluid in there. So I'm going to see what it's looking like. I'm going to change the oil today. And you see it's still kind of a light brown, dark honey color. I was expecting to see a lot more black on there, so either there wasn't anything to clean or it didn't clean anything. I also thought it might be black from the transmission fluid kind of burning up in the crankcase, but see, it looks pretty clean. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and change the oil today. So first I want to remove the oil filler cap, and that's mainly precautionary to make sure that we can fill it up again, but also I think it helps it drain faster. While the last few drops are coming out of the crankcase, it's a 5/8 inch socket, 15 foot-pounds of torque to bolt that back on. You want to inspect the O-ring or gasket, whatever you want to call it. Make sure that it looks like it'll seal. This one's probably not ideal, although I know it's fairly new, so I'm going to reuse it. It should be okay. Crown Vic, when fully drained, has a 6-quart capacity. I'm going to use approximately 5 quarts of 5W20 full synthetic, and the remainder will be, I'm going to try this out, this high mileage compression repair to see if I notice any improvements or not. I'll mainly be looking at the gas mileage, see if there's any improvement there. I'm not going to actually run compression tests or anything. And then I'll top it off with Marble Mystery Oil till it is full on the dipstick. Crown Vic uses the FL820S oil filter. All oil filters, you want to put some oil on the O-ring before you install it. Now, changing the oil filter is usually kind of messy. Try to get your drain pan below, because once you get this turned a certain amount, the oil will usually start dripping out. And because of all the things in the way, it can turn different directions and make a real mess. The alternative, of course, to puncture the oil filter and let it drain out. The problem I have with doing that is if for some reason you can't get your oil filter off, then you're basically stuck. And then you just want to let the rest of the oil drip out. You want to check, like you can see the gasket's not stuck on there, but obviously you want to check and make sure there's not a gasket stuck on there. Once that's done draining, then just clean it off, put the new filter on. You just want to spin the new filter on, kind of hand snug it, and then once it's snug, give it about a quarter turn. You don't want to over torque it. You don't want to use an oil filter wrench to put it on. The fill procedure is pretty straightforward, but you do want to do it in this order, I would say. So first I'm going to put in the compression restoration thing. This is very thick. And because it's not exactly a quart, in fact it's not even half a quart, the fill on this is going to be a little more complicated. It's also never safe to assume that you got all 6 quarts out when you drained it. You'll probably get close to 6 quarts every time, but there's probably a little bit of residual oil left over, so you have to take that into consideration when filling. Next, we're going to add the 5 quarts of 5W20 oil. Alright, she's on a level surface. Pull the dipstick and clean it off. Reinsert it fully, pull it out and look where the oil level is. And you can tell that it's about right there. So that dot to that dot is approximately 1 quart. So it's roughly a half a quart low. So I'm going to put in a half a quart of Marble Mystery Oil and then check it again and it should be full. So the nice thing about the Marble Mystery Oil is it has markers on here. So half a quart is going to be right there. I'm going to be a little conservative and not quite use that much, just in case. It's always easier to add than it is to remove. So based on that, we should be about 4 ounces shy of totally full, and we'll check that on the dipstick. That appears to be correct, so I'm going to add 4 ounces, check it again, and consider this job done. And it's always important to remember to put your cap back on. And this is me being silly. I'm very OCD about things. Obviously, if you've seen all my videos, you see I try to keep things clean and so forth. But this is something that I'm very OCD about. I like the cap to close this way as opposed to being the opposite way, to where when it's done that it closes like that. So obviously it doesn't really make any difference, but unless you're OCD.